y'all. Mellissae Lucia out here in the desert. Holiday Sunday. The Seahawks are going to play pretty soon. I'm from the 206, so it's worth mentioning. But we're clearly not in Western Washington right here. I know. We're smart, aren't we? We figured that out. We're in the desert. Here we are. We're out in the desert. If you watch my scopes with any regularity, you can watch the change in energy that different locations give me. Hey, Ange. And I even noticed for myself how much calmer I am on the desert scopes. I'm like, ooh, I become a rock, I become the sand. Whereas in some of the places I get so excited, some of the graffiti places and stuff, I get sort of more wound up. So you get the many ranges. We all are many ranges and many flavors. As Dave would say, we fish of many colors, right, Dave? That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a fish of many colors. We'll leave it at that. Okay, we're gonna go back to land. I find that more interesting, but we'll yak. Adventures in Uncertainty. So we're back with Adventures in Uncertainty. This has been this phase in the journey that I'm on, that we're all on, because the reality is the world is whack. MST, hi. And we don't know what's coming. I have to show you guys this because it's so beautiful. Look at that color. We don't know what's coming. Nobody knows what's coming, and we're not necessarily supposed to know what's coming, but the question is, how do we roll with it? How does that impact our lives? What do we do with this uncertainty, and what do we do with the potentials in uncertainty? Because that's what we really want. That's what I really want, is I want those potentials with the uncertainty. And so this morning, Ange, I woke up this morning and the downloads went, and that tends to be downloads, or you could call them uploads, because they're probably from the earth as much as from out yonder. And there's that couch. I love that couch. And so this morning, for like 3 or 4 hours, which is longer than usual, I'm a little zombied, this whole new program that I'm going to put online sooner than later is going to come up. But it's about, if you are a person who visionary projects are calling you, and how do you even know if you're one of those folks? But that's another discussion. But how do you deal with the downloads? I mean, how do you practically take this information, these ideas that are alive, hi Render, and bring these things to market, bring these things down to the earth plane? And that's what I've been doing for decades. And so I realized that there's actually a handful of people in my life who are getting these unmistakable messages that there are ideas and projects that want them. But sometimes even knowing where to start is really confusing. I am in Palm Springs. Woohoo! How about you? Render? W Render? I guess we could say Render because the W and the R just mold into each other, don't they? And so just sitting with this idea of, so I've been talking a lot about Big Magic, Elizabeth Gilbert's book. If you haven't read Elizabeth Gilbert's book or picked it up, Big Magic, fabulous, because it talks about, and I'm in agreement, I wished I'd written the book, it's so great. I'm in agreement that ideas are alive and they want to land on people who can carry them. They want to land on people who have the skill sets, and the interesting thing is sometimes they land on people who don't have certain skill sets, and that's part of what you need, is to have deficits in certain areas. But when these ideas that are alive, that want some sort of a carrier to bring them down here to the earth plane, because I'm a proponent of the muses. I think that there's some great mystery to creative inspiration. Yeah, go read Render, go get Elizabeth Gilbert's book. It's quite phenomenal. And so these ideas that are floating around in the collective unconscious, or wherever you want to call it, the muses, spirit, the cosmos, God, universe, whatever you want to call it, there's these ideas, because when creativity flows through, I think most people would agree, it's fairly mysterious, particularly when it's going really well. It's like, wow, that came out of me? You know, not like we need to beat ourselves up, but like, wow, that seems like that's transcendent. That's something beyond me. Oh, we'll go back to me for a minute. And so this idea of, what do you do when these things are are knocking on your door saying, hey, you might be an awesome person to write this book, write this play, do this dance, make this garden, laugh with the children. You know, it isn't always a totally specific project, but I'm a project girl. I've brought through a lot of books, oracle decks. This is what I do. And so I'm just putting out there this question to have you guys start marinating on it, musing on it, is what do you do when you can tell something's knocking at your door, but you've never done anything like this before? You haven't brought through, or maybe you've brought through one, but you feel like it could be navigated more adeptly. And so I'm just saying that this morning, part of why I'm talking about this was because I spent 4 hours basically downloading the structure of an online workshop that I'm going to do, and it comes like a fire hose, and I'm writing stuff down. I'll post somewhere online some pictures of these. I have notebooks, and I write stuff in notebooks. And when I spent 6 years making my Oracle of Initiation deck and following that whole process, it's a journey. It's an initiation. It's a tempering. And we have those voices, I'm not ready. I'm not good enough. I don't know how. You get trained in the journey. That's how it works. That's what Adventures in Uncertainty are, is you show up and you say, I don't know how to do this. I'm terrified. I'm freaked out. I'm excited. And I don't know how. And you get trained step by step by step. So this is just an enormous subject that I could basically write about and talk about for the rest of my life, and I may. But I just wanted to get you guys musing about the muses, about ideas. Are ideas alive? Are there some ideas that want to jump on you? In the Elizabeth Gilbert's book, Big Magic, she has this story. I won't tease it for you. Thanks for showing up, Render. I won't ruin it for you, but Elizabeth had this idea for this story. She was going to write this book. Really pretty unique. You know, this isn't the combination of characteristics for this story. You know, this wasn't just like anybody could write, you know, the kids on a road trip story. This was an interesting story. She went to other projects. She didn't follow through it. She shelved it to a certain degree. She went to have lunch with another famous writer friend who she was just getting to know. She said, well, you know, what are you doing? The famous writer friend told her she was writing a book that was the same frickin' story. The same story. And I'm telling you, this was an interesting story. This wasn't an everyday story. And Elizabeth's mind was blown. And you got to read Big Magic. Mind was blown because basically the idea had hopped from Elizabeth, who was neglecting it. It said, I'm going for another dance partner, and it went over to this other writer. And she was writing it, and she was rocking it. Because some ideas, they are determined to come through. And there's a whole bunch of stories about coincidences with my oracle deck, other people having dreams, the same structure coming through for someone who's quite a bit more well-known than I am in his book, same structure. So anyway, like I say, clearly, I guess I say I could ramble on for days and days about this, but I just wanted to welcome you guys into the download world. The upload world. The magic. The magic. How does the magic call you? So I'm going to go for a walk because I need to get back in my body because there was so much channeling that then I ate. The lady that I'm renting from's watching football. Life is very good. I bet Ange is watching football. The Hawks are coming up. And love to the desert. And love to you all out there in Periscope world. And it's coming up. The Perry Summit's coming up. Oh, you're not watching football. Are you cuddled up reading? What are you doing, Ange? Let's see. The kids. Do you have the kids? Yeah, you might have the kids. You're reading. Well, who couldn't be happier than that? Oh, let's spend our lives reading or writing or channeling. All right, my darlings. That was our Desert Muses for the day from Palm Springs. Oh, go Gus, go! I wonder if there's any elk up there on Rucker Hill. Go tell Gus to get the elk on Rucker Hill and tell Blondie that I love her too. All right, my darlings. Ciao. Happy almost end of the year.